Welcome to EduAdvice Podcast. Today, we have pleasure to host Dr. Lakshmi Murthy, a respected educator and a finance expert with extensive experience in finance education, investment advisory, wealth management, and industry academic engagement. As a finance career continues to evolve with rise of AI, fintech, and digital investing, students need a deeper understanding of the opportunities and skills required to succeed in these changing landscape. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Lakshmi Murthy.
Thank you. Nice being here, Monica. Look forward to the interaction today.
Thank you, ma'am. So my first question to you is, with investment advisory emerging as a promising career path, how can educational institutes prepare students to explore opportunities beyond traditional banking rules?
So let me just give you a little background to why I could talk about this subject. I am currently working as a Vice-Chancellor of ITM University, Raipur. And as part of our schools, one of the schools is School of Commerce, Management and Research. And over a period of time, we have seen a lot of students taking interest in finance as a career, but the industry itself is changing, not only because of AI, but a lot of regulatory requirements, and the market itself is changing. And keeping that in view, we do a lot of initiatives within the university, which is what I would like to share, purely from the perspective of what we are doing and how we are helping our students. So, when we say finance, traditionally, students would look at either as banking jobs, or they would look at many as recently as, like, at best they get into fintech. One of the areas that needs to be looked at by students is the career in wealth management. And in that, it's a and wealth management, somehow people thought is only something that rich people do. That's not how it is. Wealth management needs to be done by every individual, depending on what you earn, how you earn, and how do you create wealth for yourself. So it's not only saving. It's the shift is to wealth. How do you create wealth? And wealth can have many meaning. And with that perspective, if students start preparing, there's a huge potential that they have in the market today in terms of advisory and helping create people wealth.
Okay, so this is like a completely new course which is going on at your institute, right?
Right. So what we are doing now is, earlier we used to have, say, your traditional MBA finance, a traditional BCom, or BBA, in which you would have a subject as finance. But we are looking at coming years when we start our new session. We're looking at preparing our students either for creating their own consulting or advisory firms, or they could work within the banks and within the wealth consulting organizations, and giving them those kinds of exposure is what we are trying to do in the years to come. So, see, when we say wealth management, there are multiple things that one needs to look at or learn, which is what would we would try to cover in our courses uh, going forward. So it's like, see, when we say wealth, it could be estate planning. Also, see, salaried people today would look to tax optimization, and for this, they need to understand what's an emerging field called behavioral finance. So, what these look at is, how is the consumer bias happening? How What would they invest in, giving them advisory accordingly. curriculum and which would help the students to get these advisory roles.
Yeah. Ma'am, actually, you started with this course or you all are about to start it?
We have something called so there are we haven't started an independent course. What we have done is we've done one independent course which is in BBA in banking and finance. This focuses purely on the banking and finance sector. Within that we would have specialization. This is one part. The second we are doing is within our traditional courses there are students who want to do their startup or join businesses of their family which are into these services, or even the students who want to get into banks. Today banks are looking at students with these kinds of advisory knowledge and experience. So this is what we are doing. We are covering various aspects through various methods.
Okay, okay. So my next question to you is, how can academic programs in banking and finance stay aligned with evolving industry trends such as in fintech, ESG investing, digital wealth management, and AI-driven advisory services?
Okay, so see, there are multiple ways that we could work with industry. And in our BBA banking and finance services, we are partners to, over a period of time, we have partners to various banks in the industry. So we've been traditionally, our students are being hired and we are partnering as recruiters to large scale banks like ICICI, Kotak Mahindra, Axis Bank. We have various programs running in there. That is a wealth of what you say experience that we have, and a brand that we have created for catering to this. So one of the things that works very best is internship with the banks first, which could be 5 months. But in our BBA banking and service, we're doing something unique. The first year will be a foundational generic BBA program. The second year will be specific to banking and wealth management specialization or fintech specialization that students would take. So we would go into the depth of these industry. This is the second. The third year we are doing a 1 year internship with our partner banks or partner advisory services. So this gives the students a hands-on experience. The second is what we have done is we have partnered with firms like NISM, where we do specialized, we are authorized partners of NISM. So we do their mandated certification, which enables the students to become authorized advisory agents or whatever, because SEBI has mandated. So if we integrate that into our curriculum, it just increases the chances of our students becoming more employable, or maybe a potential to start their own companies if they want to.
Yeah, so it is mostly based on practical learning and aligning more to the National Education Policy 2020. I was asking that this is more approaching to practical learning and aligning to more towards National Education 2020 policy, right?
Yes, yes. So, the see national when you mention national education policy, the NEP 2020, there are it gives a lot of pathways that we could create for students. It also allows us to do multidisciplinary courses that could be chosen by the students for their career. So it's like today with AI and technology becoming a huge enabler in almost all industry, we've also integrated that. So we have a school of engineering which offers AI and tech related courses. Now students could pick up those courses as electives or as part of their curriculum to become tech savvy. We also have signed up with companies and consulting like Grant Thornton, through whom We provide course certification courses, basic like students, if they have to get into, the future is going to be in blockchain. We do on cyber security. We do on cryptocurrency. So all of this is not very directly related to the banking industry, but if students have these courses, it helps them in their employment journey. And that's why we're working with multiple industry acknowledged certification courses, which which is enabler for the students.
Yeah, so this is more about becoming more dynamic and evolving to the market needs and technology.
Right.
Yeah. So my next question to you is, industry experts often highlight the importance of practical exposure. What kind of initiatives such as in internships, stimulation, certification, and life projects are most effective in helping students become industry-ready investment professionals?
Right. So, like I mentioned, our internships are industry connected, or in meaning internships are more. It's not generic internship. We do have specific, like we partner with companies, and most of these banks or any of the advisory companies, we specifically ask them what is it that we need to teach the student before they come for the internship, and then we prepare them and then they go into the internship. So internships mostly used to happen as 1 month or 2 months in undergraduate, but with nep what we have done is our fourth year students, they have 3 months internship, and with specific courses like bba banking and finance, it's a 1 year internship, and that actually prepares the students into the job. And a lot of times our students also get PPO, because if a company has invested in a student and prepared them, then they most likely get a, PPO.
Yeah, like it's more about not preparing more for exams, but then evolving ourselves to be practically evolve in the industry relevant skill.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So, my next question to you is, what are the key skills employers seek in fresher graduates aspiring to build careers in investment advisory and wealth management? And how can students develop these competency during the academic journey?
Right. So some of the things, and the most important is in these advisory services, the important skill is communication. And when we say communication, it's not only about spoken language skills; it's your ability to comprehend, your ability to understand who your customer is, customize your advice according to the customer, understand what the market trends are. See, because studying and understanding market trend is something which is an individual skills. So ability to analyze, ability to use tools like use technology, have the knowledge of see like python, r. These are technologies which mostly generally graduates never used to think of doing it while they are in the curriculum, but today these are not only tech skills, these are enablers as a soft skills or a allied skills, which the student should look at. There's another thing that we have conceptualized for next year is a case study competition on complex investment advisory situations. So, you know, what happens is students can look at real life case studies, which we would work with the industry, and they would try to solve these complex problems that gives them exposure.
Okay, yes, ma'am. So, my next question to you is, financial literacy is increasingly becoming an essential life skill. Why should
Yes.
investment education begin at university level, and how can students cultivate a long-term financial planning and wealth creative mindset?
Right. So when they need to see, financial literacy no longer is about knowing basic banking operations. Financial literacy today is long term. Said initially, it's how do we help students? How do students learn to help their customers to make more wealth. Now, in terms of tools, it's not about only knowing Excel. Even if you know Excel, you need to know the macros, develop your own templates and formulas, so that you can come up with a tool which you can base on which you can advise, or knowledge of certain apps which helps the customer to use certain algorithms. How do the algorithms work? How can you maximize wealth for the person? So these are financial planning tools that the student need to understand. So first was soft skills, second was the tech skills. The other is they need to be aware of the development in the uh, financial planning and fintech industry, because today the tools or the wealth creation is not only through bonds and stock market. There are many other, so real estate is another, RET is another wealth creation tool. Now, knowing this, knowing about the rules of those industry, and then advising your client is something that the companies would look at a fresher to come with the knowledge. At least if they are not experts, at least they need to understand, oh, this is a new area that is coming up, and this is something that I can learn and utilize in my job.
Yeah, so we need to diversify in the market. That's what you are trying to see, right?
Yes, and there's one more aspect that a fresher in this in a university should look at, is their ability to research and create insights. So see, today there is information, there are AI tools, but you need to know what to use with what combination and when, and how do you gain insights. So insights is something that only a human can do,
Yeah.
with respect to who your client is. And if the freshers learn this skill, I think they really gain in the market.
Yeah, so it's like we need to attach proof of work with every kind of skill we are having.
Yes,
Very important.
yes.
Yeah.
Right. So they could experiment within the. So in ITM, we have, as part of our curriculum, we take our students to our to immersion program in our Kharghar campus, where we have this live technical trading platform, which replicates the SEBI, the BSc, I think BSc or NSE, I'm not very sure. I think it is NSE trading platform, with only 3 minutes of difference. So the live platform they get, and they get the entire terminal to trade, to find out whether they've made loss. So these are simulations that happens, which is live as of just 3 minutes difference, and that gives the students the ability to make decisions, to look at what went wrong. They do the analysis, what they could have done better, what did they miss, or was their decision right at that point in time. Now, these skills are key for the students to learn if they have to succeed in this industry in today's market.
Yeah, so that platform might be helping them to make mistake at low cost, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so my next question to you is, as a technology transforms the financial services landscape, how can institutes like ITM prepare students to become more trusted advisory who combine analytical expertise with client-centric decision making?
Right. So, like I said, one is they need to be tech savvy. It's no longer, and that is what we are preparing our students with AI, with platforms, like I said, is simulations we do. We have competitions amongst the students, doing portfolio analysis, doing client advisory. So, these are various role plays and case studies that we integrate within our curriculum, so that the students are prepared. We make them also do financial modeling. We call industry experts. So last year we had an ex PwC advisor who is near in Raipur physically to come and do the session for our students. So when we started with saying he has only 2 hours to do, and the whole session becomes so interesting that the students did not leave him for six more than 6 hours, and he was more than happy to do it because the eagerness and the hunger that the students had and the knowledge that he had. So now we've made it as a regular feature. So unless the students do not know modeling, financial modeling, they'll be unable to do the advisory as well. So we've integrated as part of our curriculum. So we keep doing these additions based on what the industry asks for, and what are generally the consulting companies are looking at. Because if they know what the large consulting companies are doing, they can adopt those practices in their own day to day learning.
Yes, ma'am. These all things will definitely help student to evolve dynamically with the market needs. Uh,
Yes,
so thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us and for sharing your valuable insights with our audience. Today's discussion
right.
highlighted the growing importance of investment advisory, wealth management, fintech, AI, and financial literacy as well in shaping the future of finance career. So we hope this conversation helps students make informed decision and prepare for the opportunities emerging within the financial sector. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, and look forward to help students in making their careers and decisions in the fintech industry. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.